So hello and welcome to this video. I'm going to be discussing how much commission a recruitment consultant actually makes in the UK. Now, this will be based on a lot of data and also my personal experience as well. So there's usually an orthodox way which people earn commission, which is a basic salary, and then you get commission on that. As well as there's other methods. There's probably two other methods that I'll probably talk about. The other is quite clear, a commission only structure, and the other one is a sort of partnership with a company where you're kind of self-employed, but you give them a cut at the end of the day. But they help manage all your back office and all your accounts and everything from there. And they're usually free to join as well. But it pretty much, it's not really worth it. But a lot of people do take that route and they're quite successful. So just going on to the commission structure side, if you're employed, you obviously get a basic salary. Now, depending on what area or what sort of industry you're recruiting in and your experience, probably you'll be earning around 16 to 20,000 per year. The salaries are slowly going up, but commission structure is pretty much the same wherever you look. Now, don't be fooled by certain adverts and certain companies that offer this, 30, 40, 50% commission. If they do that on pretty much every placement, they'll be out of business, because the margin isn't even there for that, unless they're filling every single position as well. So just going back to what typically you'll be earning, you'll be looking at around the 5 to 20%, typically around the 10 to 15% of everything you make. So if, for example, you make £10,000 for your employer, so you generate that much income, 10 grand, you'll get 10% of that, which is a grand, or you'll get 15%, 1,500 from that. That's basically how the commission structure works and how much they usually earn, people earn. Now, companies usually have a sliding scale, so it may start off on zero in terms of commission. You may get 5% if you make between 5 and 10, and then you'll get 10% if it's between 10 and 20 grand if you make, and anything above that you might earn 20%. That's typically how a lot of companies work because it's very favorable. It's very profitable for them as well, to actually have a few consultants that are bringing in a few £1,000 per month, and you're happy to give them a little 10% here and there. So structurally, what does the average recruitment consultant make? Believe it or not, the average recruitment consultant throughout the year actually makes about £6,000. Now, this isn't in line with what they take home as a commission. They make per month £6,000 for their company on average. So if you take the average recruiter, they'll be making £600 commission based on that 10% every single month. So that's how much commission you'll be earning. Now, I don't know if the average recruiter is someone that's been recruiting for a year, and I don't know if that's someone including people that are self-employed as well. From my experience, it's pretty accurate. Most people tend to make, some months 10 grand, some months 2 grand for the company, and they don't, necessarily make very good money. However, it's an entry level role, and this is the average recruiter, so you don't actually want to be average, you want to be well above average. I've not seen anyone make 100k. I know people that have hired people that bill £1 million per year, but I don't know anyone personally that makes over 100 grand as a recruiter in the UK. Now, the reason being, that sort of 100k recruiter or a big commission check was when the market wasn't saturated. It wasn't very lucrative as it is, or as it was. Nowadays, it's so competitive. Everyone's set up a business and everyone's recruiting, and it's so competitive. I mean, companies used to get 3 calls in a day. Now they probably get about 30 or 40. It's literally, I think companies are registering so left, right, and center. So there's a lot of competition out there, and the rates are starting to drop as well. So with that being said, companies are offering less commission, and they're making it more hard for consultants to actually make commission just based on the market, as well. So if you are looking to start up as a recruiter, make some money in commission, you can actually do very well. Now, what I've said is pretty negative, but in terms of what I've earned in commission, I've had months where after tax I've taken home £5,000 as well, so which is extremely good, based on a sort of entry level role. and I wasn't actually that experienced. So about in my first year, you'd probably be taking around what I said the average about £600. In your second year, and this first, second, and third year thing only applies if you stay within the same company. If you move around different companies, the reason being you won't actually make those monies because you lose the clients, you lose all the candidates you have. So with that 1 or 2 years with the company, you actually want to find a company that you know you really want to stick with, rather than moving about here and there. Not to say moving about isn't good sometimes, but if you really want to do the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and see how it goes, then yeah. So second year, what you'd be looking at, probably you'll be earning around, I think about 600 to a grand. Some months maybe more than that. You may be looking at the 1500 mark. And year three, you should be on the 20 to 30 £1,000 billings per month. If you built up a client base, it's a very long time to actually do that, and it's very easy, even if you're not putting much effort into it to do that. So you should be on 60k a year, very easily with that. So and if you study an IT course or to be a programmer, it probably would take you that long to earn that money. Probably take you 5 years to do that. With recruitment, you can actually get there in 2 to 3 years, maybe even less. So the industry is sometimes frowned upon as just commission junkies, but it's a very skilled job in some ways. So I hope this helped explain. I hope it helped, and if you got any questions, let me know.